If you're planning your wedding, you'll appreciate the wisdom shared by tonight's guests. They're newlyweds.
Welcome to Weddings with Zita. Here's your host and producer, Zita Christian.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. You know, if you've watched Weddings with Zita before, you know that the tagline is "Be inspired by the experts." And I've had wedding vendors on the show, and it occurred to me that when it comes to real wedding experts, who better than newlyweds a couple months after the wedding? So I'm starting a new segment of the show tonight called Wedding Wisdom, and I'm going to feature couples who've been married for a couple months. So my very first couple are my friends, Zak and Elissa Slavin. Thanks very much for being on the show. Not only for being on the show, but because it's the first time I've done this segment, and it feels so much better to do it with somebody I know. So it eases my nerves a little bit.
We're happy to be here.
Good. So a lot of questions. A lot of people I know in the audience are going to appreciate hearing like what you've been through and what you learned through the process of the wedding. So what time of year did you get married? What time of year?
In September.
In September.
Fall.
And how long ago? Because okay, so we're taping now in December, but this might not air for a while. So 3 months? Mm-hmm. So you get a 3-month perspective?
Yeah.
Best 3 months of my life.
Oh, you are such a honey. I love that. How far in advance did you start planning the wedding?
About 11 months. We got engaged October 14, married in September 15.
Okay. And when it came to that planning of the wedding, how did you divide those responsibilities? Because you get that whole list of, you have to book this, you have to decide that, you have to, so many things to plan. Did you divide the responsibilities? Did you do everything together? How'd you do it?
We divided it all to me.
Okay. Okay. And were you okay with that? I mean, that's a lot.
I was.
Okay.
I knew what I wanted, so
Yeah.
I wasn't really comfortable giving it all away to anyone else.
Yeah. I understand. And I'm assuming that was okay with you because you look like a
Most
happy man.
definitely. I give the yes, the no, and anything in between.
There you go. One of the biggest questions I hear from couples on some of the wedding forums that I go on is about the guest list. Because you start out, not everybody, but most couples, I think, start out with this big guest list. And then you look at how many people can you accommodate at the venue and how many people can you accommodate because of your budget. So did you have to whittle down a guest list, and how did you decide?
It was extremely difficult prioritizing all the people
Yeah.
we have in our life, having so many people that we love and care about. I left most of that to Elissa. Yeah, I put my 10 guests on the list. Elissa took the rest. But no, it was very difficult, and if we didn't get to have everyone we like to have there, but I think the most important thing is that we knew we were going to have a great crowd regardless, and everybody had a great time, and that's what it's all about.
And my uncle Dutch out in South Dakota, who is not with us anymore, I asked him one time, he and my Aunt Irene had celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, and I asked him what was his secret to this long and happy marriage. And I'll never forget, he said it was very simple. They decided when they got married that Aunt Irene, his wife, would make all of the small decisions and he would make all of the big decisions. And he said, and you know what, in 50 years we haven't had to make a big decision yet. And I thought, yeah, every couple
Perfect.
finds what works for them.
I'm following that lead.
It's a good lead. So a question about your wedding party, about the size of your wedding party. How big was it? How many attendants did you have?
I had 6 bridesmaids, and Zak had 4 groomsmen, and we had 2 ring bearers.
Okay, now that brings up just right off the top, 6 bridesmaids, 4 groomsmen. So you did not feel, I'm assuming, a compulsion to have an even number, or was it a case of somebody dropping out at the last minute?
There actually were two dropouts, so it was initially going to be even, but there was 2 people who couldn't attend, unfortunately. So we made do, and there was 2 happy men to have 2 ladies
Yes.
on either side. So.
Well, I've done a number of weddings where it is just not a prerequisite that you have to have an even number anymore, so that's not a case. And I've also done a number of weddings, when I say done, I mean officiate at a wedding, where the traditional gender lines are crossed, where maybe on the groom's side he might want to have a woman because of some special relationship, and the same thing on the bride's side, she might want to have a man in her side of the wedding party. That was the case for you.
It was.
And everybody was totally comfortable with that, as it should be.
A very
Exactly.
close friend of Alyssa's that we adore and love. So
Good.
It's
Yeah.
great.
I love seeing that. I think it's a good sign. So this show in particular, I like to give people in the audience advice from wedding vendors. And I thought, from your perspective, with 11 months to plan a wedding, who were the first 3 wedding vendors you chose? Because I'm guessing that maybe because they were hard to get.
So the first vendor was our venue, and that was just, we wanted to kind of get that out of the way as soon as possible because we didn't have a long time ahead of us to plan. The second was our photographer. Same thing, we had to kind of act quick. With only 11 months, it fills up really quickly. And then the third was our DJ.
That's usually how it works. Okay. Did you meet in person with all 3 of them?
We did,
Okay.
a few
And
times.
Did you find that helpful?
Most definitely.
Could you have done it without meeting them? Would you have felt as comfortable?
No, that was necessary.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good
To
for
make
people
things
to
run
know.
smooth.
Yeah, you need to get that. You need to get a vibe, an energy vibe from the people, because it's going to be a really important day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The venue. What did you consider when you were choosing the venue? Because I know you were down at Amarantes, which is such a beautiful place. And I think of that place and I think, oh, you're on the water. Was being on the water an important thing for you?
Yes, Alyssa and I have been together 10 years, and all she's talked about is getting married by the water. So that was numero uno on the list. We found the Amarantes. Not only was it beautiful on the outside, but it was just as nice on the inside for a plan B. So.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that's one of the most important things for couples to realize. And if you are planning your wedding and you are looking at a venue and you are so happy with what they offer for the plan A, you have to be sure that you like plan B also, because plan B isn't always good. And you were married outside. I mean, obviously you wanted to be by the water, so that begs an outside wedding.
Yes.
Right. And inside was just as beautiful. They fully explained exactly what would happen if it rained that day, and we, as much as we wanted to be married outside, we were going to be okay dealing with the inside.
Yeah. Good. Yes, and that's an important piece. Music, ceremony music. So, did you choose? I have to ask as though I weren't there. Did you choose live music? Did you have recorded music, DJ? What did you pick and why?
We had a DJ. As nice as it would be to have live music, it's more expensive, and we were trying to work within a budget.
They were wonderful. Oh my gosh, because I got there
Yeah.
very early. They were fantastic.
They were.
Fantastic. Did they help you decide what music you were going to use for the ceremony?
No, not
Did
at
you
all. Yeah, I was pretty familiar with what I wanted. I mean, it took a little bit of kind of like playing different songs to figure
Yeah.
out what was going to have the right vibe for the day. But no help from the DJ on that.
So tell me what you chose. First, for the processional, your bridal party, your wedding party coming down, what did you choose?
They came out to All of Me by John Legend.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then your entrance,
I came out to Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud, instrumental.
instrumental. Okay.
Exactly.
And then recessional.
Was Ray LaMontagne.
Oh, beautiful.
And I always forget the name of the exact song.
The best thing. The best
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. And then your first dance. What was your first dance? What did you dance to?
Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out
Another
Loud.
Ed Sheeran. You
But
know,
with the words this time.
And it was because of my working with you that I thought, oh, well, I must check out this Ed Sheeran, because I just wasn't exposed to him before. And since then, I've downloaded lots of music. It's so
a great
beautiful.
voice.
So beautiful. Photographer and video. You did have video, right?
Yep.
Did you have? I don't remember anyone with a GoPro, but was there a GoPro camera? Was there a drone?
I don't believe so.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
No
Okay.
drones.
Just a regular camera.
It used to be. I mean, the whole idea of having video was the cutting edge, and I have been. I have officiated a couple weddings where there was a couple GoPro cameras and video. Then the drone. It's like a whole new world. But what did you consider when you were choosing your photographer and your videographer? What were the important things?
So the important things for us is we have a family friend, our best friend's cousin's a photographer.
Oh,
and
nice.
we just feel so connected to her, and having that connection where you just feel so comfortable with somebody is so important. She did our engagement pictures as well, and we never felt like we were posing. We just felt like we were having fun and enjoying our friends and family and each other, that it just felt so natural.
I think that it really is a key. To work with somebody who knows you, that they'll know your mannerisms, they'll know your body language that's comfortable for the two of you.
Definitely.
That was
Instead
good.
of feeling like a statue, it's definitely nice working with someone
Yeah.
you know.
And video?
Video, we chose a company that kind of did a package deal with our DJ, but we were able to pick our specific videographer, and I watched a lot of clips. We just tried to find the right style for us.
Good. So Zak, do you consider yourself like a technical person, and do you work with like a lot of camera stuff yourself? Do you do anything like that?
Well, I am hands-on, but not technically speaking.
Yeah.
Installing roofing, siding, and windows. But yeah, I would like to say a little technical.
Good, good. I am not. I mean, I am good at some things, but all the technical stuff is not. So I'm always fascinated when they bring in something new and different.
Yeah.
Questions now, a couple of questions about the ceremony. So this is a little awkward since I performed your ceremony, but pretend like you don't know me, okay? So what were you looking for when you were thinking of getting married? You must have given some thought to what you wanted in a ceremony, whether religious or spiritual or something. Any thoughts at all?
Yeah, we did not want a religious ceremony. I think we both grew up really young in religious environments and just that didn't progress through our lifestyle. And we wanted something that meant a lot to us, more than just a justice of the peace who is going to, say a few words and off you go. We wanted somebody like you, what you did for us, and you made our ceremony so special. And we wanted somebody to tell the story of how we met and why after 10 years we're still together, and the important parts of our relationship.
You had such a good story too. That was
you.
a pleasure to write. Now you included, in fact we have, I skipped a photo that I really wanted to show too. One of the questions I think is so important is, we're going to go back here for a second. If you have children in your processional, in your wedding party, and you did, and we have a beautiful little photo of the two little boys who were your ring bearers. So we'll show the little picture here. The reason I wanted to show that, they are just so adorable. When they walked down the aisle, now they're too little to stand up for 25 or 30 minutes for a ceremony. So where did they go?
They went and sat with their parents.
Okay, and then at the end of the ceremony, they were not then part of the recessional.
They were not.
Okay.
Nope.
Because if you've not worked with something like that, you don't know. Okay.
Right. Well, there are two nephews, and they're good, but they're little wild men at the same
they're
time.
little boys. Yeah. All right. So on the ceremony itself, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that you chose the hand fasting as part of your ceremony, and we have a photo here. There's a photo of me here with the two of you, and I'm wrapping the cord around your hands. Why did you choose to have the hand fasting ceremony?
We wanted something unique and not so much traditional that everyone does. And when you brought that to our attention, we couldn't go any other way. We really liked it. We both have an Irish heritage, and I think it all played in perfectly along with
The rest of the ceremony.
yes.
Yeah. Well, and I've got another image here of the cord itself. So I just wanted to show that and let people know the cords that I make, they're 9 feet long, and the reason they're 9 feet long is that so you have plenty to work with to actually tie a knot, and that is where the origin of that came from. It occurred to me after I finished all the weddings for this season that with a 9-foot cord, I thought, well, when a couple, if you decided to have children, there's so much more of the cord. You could like gently wrap a cord around the baby, for a naming ceremony, and tie another knot so that you wind up with, down the line, you've got a cord that's got knots in it for your wedding and knots for children, which I had not thought of before, but I think that would work.
Idea.
Yeah, let's think about that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rushing you or anything, but so I want to talk a little bit about colors. And I want to look first at, there's a photo here from down at Amarantes. They have these beautiful dark pink hydrangeas. Those are so gorgeous. And that color, you picked that up, that family, the shades of those colors in your wedding palette. Let's show the next one. These were flowers that were on the chairs on the aisle. So you see that same color family. Why did you choose those colors? Were you looking for something seasonal that went with the venue, or were they colors that were important to you personally?
I just really wanted a neutral palette of colors for my wedding. I didn't want anything too busy, or I just really wanted, those earth tones and champagne type of colors, the light pinks, and it just so happened I got lucky enough that they matched the flowers at
really
Amarantes. And then, my florist was amazing and just did a wonderful job.
She really, really did. Now, we've got a picture here, too, of Zak's boutonniere. So let's show that one. Now, one of the reasons I love showing this, in the succulents next to the rose, it picks up that same color family, only much deeper tones, which I thought was brilliant.
Thank you.
That was really nice. And then the final picture here for the flowers, here's the two of you. And I remember this, I had just pronounced you married. And I love this picture because the wind is blowing your veil. It was so pretty. But we see this beautiful bouquet and the colors. And one of the things I didn't notice until I saw the picture, the colors in the flowers are such a compliment to your skin tone. Because you and I both have that warm skin tones. And all those peaches and champagnes and creams and ivories work well for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So you think about all those different things when you're planning the wedding. How many, I think about, where couples get their ideas and their inspiration when they're planning their own wedding. How many weddings had you attended before you got engaged or before you made some of the decisions along the way? Were there things that you saw at other weddings that you thought, I want to have that at my wedding, or things you saw and thought, I don't think that would work for us?
Definitely.
Okay, some examples.
We probably had been to maybe 5-6 weddings before we
That's a
got
lot,
married.
okay.
Yeah. We really wanted a photo booth.
Okay.
We had seen photo booths at weddings, and they add this awesome vibe. Everyone has so much fun, and it gives you something else to do.
Yeah.
And then an open bar. That was pretty important. We went to a wedding without an open bar. It's very limited, and it just kind of constrains things.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. So in terms of other inspiration, did you go to sites like Pinterest or any of the wedding sites, the Knot, Wedding Wire, places like that to get ideas and images?
Yeah, I actually found our venue on Wedding Wire, just kind of looking for places on the water, and then a lot of Pinterest. And I have a very stylish group of girlfriends who were very helpful.
Nice, that's always good. Question about your cake. So we have a picture of the cake here, and I did interview a baker one time, and the baker was talking about how so many different flavors that you can have. What did you have in that cake, that gorgeous cake? What flavors?
We had red velvet on the top, which was my favorite.
Okay.
And
Chocolate.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was
nice.
layered.
Very, very nice. And did you do a separate groom's cake? That was a new thing
No.
for me. I didn't even know about
I
that.
didn't know about that. If
Yeah.
I would have known, I would have had
Well,
one.
there you go. There you go. So in terms of after the wedding, so you go on a honeymoon, and I happen to know because, so we're friends. So you went to Italy. So what was the decision in terms of going to Italy? Was it someplace that you both always wanted to go? Was it picked from a hat? How did you do that?
So, Elissa brought this to my attention one day. We had got engaged in California, and I thought, this would be great. Let's go back to California where we got engaged and we can live this moment all over again. And she brought up, let's go overseas and let's go to Italy. And I'm thinking, okay, I like wine. I like pizza. So off we went, and when we were there, we purchased a special bottle of wine so we could share that on our 1-year anniversary.
Very nice.
And the whole trip was awesome. You know, it was something that I would love to do all over. Just don't know when we'll get the time to do that again.
Yeah, but it's good that you did it when you did.
Yes.
You know? And did you plan things out ahead of time when you were there? Did you kind of go with the flow, or how did you do that?
Yeah, a good amount was planned, but at the same time, while we were there, we were still making decisions, like taking trips to vineyards,
Yeah.
random trips through the city, a lot of leathered goods for Elissa.
Of course.
A lot of shopping.
Well, did you work with a travel agent to plan everything? Did you plan it yourselves?
We worked with a travel agent.
That's so smart.
Yeah,
That's so
it
smart.
was a really good decision
Definitely
too.
helped.
She helped lead us to the right hotels, finding us good flights, and just making smart decisions about where in Italy to stay. There's so many places to go.
I don't think people realize that how much you can save, not only financially, but in terms of making the wrong decisions and missing places that you would really want to see if you don't work with a travel agent.
We wouldn't have known. We would
Yeah.
not have known where to go. We definitely, I'm sure you can't go wrong when you're in Italy. There's a lot of nice
Yeah.
spots, but without a travel agent, we would have missed a lot of things.
So, like, what were some of your favorite spots?
I loved Florence, just
My favorite too.
going into Tuscany and tasting all the wine, and the food was just fabulous. The pizza was just untouchable. You can't get that here.
Did you rent a car?
No.
After seeing the roads, I don't
Yeah.
think I would ever rent a car because
Yeah.
the roads were less than my wingspan. And
Yeah.
after seeing the way that people drove, I would say,
It was a
no
little
way.
scary. Yeah,
No
just-
way.
Just a little bit scary. So we think about year of firsts, and you mentioned just a minute ago that while you were on your honeymoon, you bought a special bottle of wine, and you planned to open that on your anniversary, first anniversary. Did you save like the first layer of the cake, or is that?
So we tried to save the first layer of cake.
Yes.
I thought it got thrown out the night of our wedding.
Oh.
Well, we had it the whole time, but we didn't find it in our garage until we got back from Italy. So
That's good.
it got thrown away.
Oh, okay. Well, you can get a red velvet cupcake.
Yeah, I'll make a nice red velvet
you
cake
go.
next year.
There you go. Well, I often wonder, as a couple begins that, what I call the year of firsts, and to get married in September, you're right on that cusp of all of these various holidays, with Thanksgiving and, Christmas, Hanukkah, Yule, and then you have New Year's, and then there's Valentine's Day, and there's just there's a collection of them right there in a couple months. Did you think about like what you're going to do on your first Thanksgiving together, what you're going to do, at your first Christmas? Because now that you're married, I mean, one of the biggest challenges is do you go to Zak's family's house for the holiday? Do you go to your family? Do you split up and do like Thanksgiving dinner one place and dessert someplace else? Or how do you navigate all that?
It's extremely difficult. For years, we've been, making the rounds and going to see our family and doing that whole nine. And we had
Yeah.
our first Thanksgiving together this year, and we actually had our families over actually as one. So it was really nice to have everyone together. That's the first time we've had that, and going forward, we're looking to this Christmas and all the other holidays of everyone being together instead of being divided, which is nice.
And so then is your home the place where people will come? Is that
For Thanksgiving, we hosted,
Yeah.
and then we'll be at Zak's mother's house on Christmas Eve.
Did you cook Thanksgiving?
I did.
How
Yep.
was it? I mean, were
was
you
great.
nervous? I mean,
Well, I can't take all the credit. My dad is an amazing chef himself, so he
okay.
did a lot of helping. I ran the Manchester Road Race, so it was a very busy Thanksgiving morning, but everybody really pulled through and helped out, and I made a lot of side dishes, but so did Zak's family and my family, and it was just a really awesome day of joint efforts.
when you think about, because I wanted to ask you, we have one last picture that I wanted to show, and I always, my friend Carol, comes in, she'll take some photos that I can use right away, and it's the one I call the first kiss, because to me, that's the one where it's like, it's that moment where, I'm pronouncing you, as married, and it's that blending of those spirits, as a romance novel, it's that first kiss that just says everything. It's a moment that I get all watery when I think about it, that there's a whole new beginning there, new branches on a family tree now that are starting because of this. So all of that concept of years of firsts and the expectation of the wedding day itself. When you think about all of that and all that you've learned, what advice do you have that you could give to couples who are sitting up there watching the show and planning their wedding and they've got a year to go?
So it's funny, I love that picture you just showed, and I read somewhere, maybe a month before our actual wedding, that the most important thing you can do after your ceremony is over is just take a full minute, and just look at each other, and not walk away, and not go down the aisle. And we made sure we did that, and it was so special. There's so many pictures that captured us just enjoying that moment, and I remember it too. And there's so much of that day you just don't remember, and I remember spending so much time with Zak and just enjoying every second of it.
Zak, what about you?
Oh,
I think, when I think about you that day, one of the things that always struck me was it's the same thing, it's the same look that you have now. There was just joy. There was such joy.
It was a lot of joy. It was a new beginning. As much as not much is changing in the sense of us being together for as long as we are, it was just a fresh new start of us being able to enjoy ourselves for the rest of our lives and being able to think back to all the good times we had.
All right. Well, I think that's a great way to end the show, because unfortunately I'm getting the wrap-up sign. So I want to thank my guests, Zak and Elissa Slavin. They're newlyweds, and the first segment with the wedding wisdom. This is really great. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you for having us.
And I also want to thank the crew. I appreciate you very much. I also want to thank you in the viewing audience. I found this great little quote from Dr. Seuss, who said, you're in love when you can't fall asleep, because reality is finally better than your dreams. So here's to your reality, and join us again next time. Thank you.
Are you planning a wedding or renewing your vows? Let today's leading wedding vendors inspire and guide you. To learn about upcoming guests and join the discussion, like us on Facebook, Zita TV. Weddings with Zita is a program of Moon River Rituals. For more information, visit zitatv.com.